Check tcgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your first purchase with TCG Center 5 code. You can also trade your Pokemon bulk for a new Sun.
How's it going, Poke fans? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, I'm gonna play with Raticate BREAK deck. So I decided to build another version of the Raticate BREAK in the standard format with some of the latest cards from the Sun and Moon expansion. So I'm running 4-4-3 line of the Raticate Rattata and Raticate BREAK, 2-2 line of the Spinarak Ariados, 1 line of the Remoraid Octillery, and single Oranguru with the Instruct. So Oranguru and Octillery are gonna be my main draw support, of course, expect instead of the Shaman. So since this is a budget version of the Nani-X deck, you really don't want to have Shaman inside. I'm running 4 copies of Rattata with this Mischievous Fang, so basically when I play my Rattata from my hand, I can discard one of my opponent tools attached to his active Pokemon. Really like that. 2 Raticates with Furry Retreat and with the Dirty Shock, and 2 Raticates with the Crunch and Shadow Bite. In addition to that, 3 copies of Super Fang, Raticate's Break, of course, and 2 copies of Spinarak and Ariados with the Poisonous Nest. So basically with the Poisonous Nest you can poison your opponent active Pokemon, and with the Super Fang you can just put him down 10 HP, which means that he can just that Raticate can just knocks him out after you pass the turn with that poison. 18 Pokemon, 38 trainer cards, and 4 energies. So let's just take a look at the item cards, but before we go to the item cards, playing against Garbodor, it's gonna be much easier right now because we have the Poison Barb, but also against Garbodor we can still have that Dirty Shock and maybe Lysandre to Garbodor for Dirty Shock, discarding tool from the Garbodor, which can be definitely good. But Poison Barb is definitely MVP with the latest Sun and Moon expansion, because if our opponent actually have in play Garbodor, at least we can somehow take the knockouts maybe with the Poison Barb, simply because we can Super Fang down to 10, and then if our opponent decides to attack our Pokemon with the Poison Barb, he's going to be knocked down from the poison. So that's at least something good versus Garbodor. So running 4 copies of Level Ball and 4 copies of Timer Ball in this build. Basically with the Level Ball you can grab any of these Pokemons except for the Raticate BREAK. We're on the other side with the Timer Ball, you flip 2 coins, and for each hand you're gonna draw 1 evolution Pokemon. My mistake, with the Level Ball you also can't grab Oranguru, so sorry for that. 2 Special Charge, 2 Super Rod, so I can recycle my Pokemons and Special Energies back from discard pile to my deck. 4 copies of Trainer's Mails, 4 copies of VS Seekers, no Ultra Balls, because I'm running 4-4 line of the Timer Ball. As you can see, no Stadium in this build. I decided to go with no Stadium in this build. Maybe Sun Clap would make more sense, but since I'm running Oranguru and those Rattatas with the Mischievous Fang, I decided not to go with the Sun Clap. Running Forest of Giant Plants on the other side might help in some other matchups, so yeah, that's the reason why I just decided to not play any Stadium. It is how it is. 1 copy of Hex Maniac, so I can at least shut down abilities on my opponent and my Pokemon's in play. Why Hex Maniac is important here? Simply because of the Majournia EX, and that's it. 2 copies of Lysandre, 3 copies of N, 1 copy of Pokémon Ranger, just because I'm running only 4 copies of Double Course Energies, that's why the Ranger is here. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, discard hand draw 7 cards, 1 copy of Teammates. I really like it, same as the 2 copies of Wally, but to be honest, when I was testing this deck, I didn't find Wally to be that good, so you can even think about replacing this that Wally for something else. 2 copies of Float Stones, 2 copies of Poison Barbs, and 4 Double Course Energies, which will be 60 cards in total for this build. If you're looking for any of them, you can find them on tcgcastle.com. Also, you can trade your old bulk for the upcoming Guardian Raising Sun and Moon Booster Box. It's available worldwide, so you can find the link in my video description with all information you need to know. Let's play one epic battle with this deck where I actually at the end lost the game, but it was definitely tough till the last prize card. I hope you guys gonna enjoy watching it. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you already didn't. So let's move to the game test. So see you there. Alright, so my opponent decided to go first. I don't have basic Pokemon available in my hand. So looks like it's gonna be Evolution deck on the other side. Very popular and very interesting deck to play, definitely in standard format. Evolution deck with Umbreon and Espeon GX, of course, with those others Ancient Origins evolutions. So I'm starting with one copy of Rattata here. More than that, I have plenty of different supporter cards available. But looks like I'm just gonna go with my N, maybe even with Sycamore. It's really hard to say right now which of these two I'm gonna play. Simply because I also want to have Teammates and Lysandre available in my discard pile, but on the other side I also want to have that Special Charge available for that energy recycle. I might just decide to gamble as usual. One Eevee in the active spot and one Zorua on the bench. So that's gonna be Ultra Ball for one Nest Ball and N. Alright. Ultra Ball maybe for Shaymin, of course. But it's pretty bad when you need to discard your Nest Ball with the Ultra Ball. Simply with the Nest Ball you can search your deck for one more Eevee and put it on the bench. I really don't know what else he have in his hand. 3 mystery cards in my opponent's hand, of course, but one of them is energy card, and 2 more on the right. I'm not sure what are they. So energy evolution into the Umbreon GX, so he can always strafe for the 30 and run down to the bench, but at his third one he unfortunately can't do that. So also one more card that he had was a Trainer's Mail, probably. So Trainer's Mail for the switch. Will he decide to switch maybe on Zorua? No, I'm not sure how that's gonna be smart. Seeker for N. Alright, so it looks like he's gonna play that N, and I hope I'm gonna grab 6 new cards, which are gonna be much better. So Spinarak Timer Ball. Well, they are not that good, as I would expect. There's a Wide Lens. Of course, it's gonna be hard to play against Umbreon. At least I have resistance. I have weakness onto the fighting Pokemons. So at least that's something. So one Timer Ball. Just to see situation in my deck before I go with my Sycamore for 7. Alright, so I have 2 special charges. Okay, 1 Float Stone, 2 Poison Barbs, 4 energies. Time to play my Sycamore for 7. Okay, Poison Barb is here. Another Spinarak is here. Trainer's Mail for nothing, just Pokemon Ranger. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just grab my Rattata, put him down to the bench. You know, discard my opponent tool, attach the Poison Barb to the active Rattata. But more than that, that's it. Can't do nothing else, but at least I can force him maybe to take at least poison. There is a double chorus energy, and right now he can go with that Shadow Bullet for like 100 and also 40 on one of my benched Pokemons. So he can have double knockout here. That's very strong. That's very strong. Okay, so still waiting. Still waiting for my opponent's decision. There's a Lysandre for my Spinarak. And he just decided to avoid one of my Rattatas with the Poison Barb, which is okay for me. I can definitely say it's okay for me. So I'm just gonna top deck another Rattata, and more than that, this is gonna be another Professor Sycamore for 7. Okay, there is finally Ariados, and the Trainer's Mail, which is gonna be for Super Rod. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that Super Rod. I can't unfortunately use my Poisonous Nest because I'm just gonna max out my Rattata. Time to recycle my Rattatas and one Spinarak. More than that, this is just gonna be the end of my turn. It's just gonna be the end of my turn. However, if he decides to attack right now, and if he have no B Seeker for the Lysandre in his hand, probably I'm gonna be able to knock out his Umbreon in my next turn. So there is one setup for 2. And one more Nazball, which might be for another Eevee. And if there is energy, of course, there's gonna be another Umbreon GX in play. Oh, just a double course energy. Alright. Just a double chorus energy for my opponent this time. I'm not sure if he run Espeon GX, but Espeon GX is gonna be very devastating for me. Simply with that, the Y GX can spread up to 10 damage counters to my Pokemons in play. Which means he can set up somehow double, triple knockout without too many problems with his Umbreon. But for now, looks like he's just gonna knock out my Rattata here. He might just even decide to pass the turn. Passing the turn, of course, is not an option because I have Ariados, so he definitely needs to go with that Shadow Bullet and attacking my Ariados on the bench. Literally, the only thing I need right now is just a double course energy, and I will have the access for the knockout. So I'm gonna top deck Oranguru, which is just so damn nice top deck. And I'm gonna play my teammates. Simply with the teammates, I'm gonna grab double course energy, and I'm also gonna grab something like another Spinarak. Alright, so I can have one more Spinarak available. I have double course energy, I have my Instruct, which is gonna be for 1, there's just an N. And of course, Super Fang will be more than enough for the knockout, since he's already poisoned. 2 prize cards for me, so there's a Float Stone and a Lysandre. Alright, that's just nice. Float Stone and the Lysandre, of course, there's gonna be Eevee. And a Darkness Energy. So right now he can have that Umbreon in play, Umbreon GX number 2 for my opponent. But the good thing for me is that I managed to set up my second Raticate in play. And as long as I have that second Raticate in play, I'm just gonna need another double course energy and Raticate Break, of course, so I can go for the knockout against his Umbreon. And after that, I think that's just gonna be it. So there's a V Seeker, which might be for the Lysandre, and it's gonna be for the Lysandre, so he might just decide to go for the Lysandre against my Ariados. But hey, that's not something you should do because I already have Spinarak available on my bench. Unfortunately, he can't take the double knockout here, so it is Lysandre for my Ariados. Well, I also had an option maybe to take Poison Barb and attach it to my Ariados, but you probably don't want to do that. You probably don't want to do that. I can still just, you know, use my Super Fang, put my opponent down to like a 10 HP, And after that, I can have that second Poison Barb attached for the knockout, of course. I also have option to crunch my opponent here, but you know, you really don't want to do that. So, the Seeker was the top deck, and to be honest, I couldn't expect a better top deck. So, I'm just gonna attach my Float Stone and play my Teammates, which is gonna be for something like a Super Rod, of course, and it's gonna be for a Level Ball. Simply because with the Level Ball, I can grab 100% my Ariados. Where on the other side, with Timer Ball, I need to gamble. And you really don't want to gamble. You really want to go for the Ariados, and you really want to have that Poisonous Nest so you can just simply knock out your opponent Umbreon without too many problems. So Poisonous Nest will be for the poison, of course, since I have that Raticate with the ability that can actually prevent him from taking or being affected with special conditions. I'm not going to be poisoned. So there we go. Right now his Umbreon is knocked out, and basically the only thing he can do is promote that Zoroark and maybe find that double course energy for the Mind Jack. But on the other side, if he do that, I'm gonna have another Rattata for the bench. I'm gonna have Special Charge and Sycamore for like 7, but still he can play something like another Eevee. Still he can play something like N and N me down to 2 cards, but if he decide to go with the N, he's also N himself down to only 3 cards. But maybe he don't have another option. So Trainer's Mail for Level Ball, but for now I think I'm gonna win this game. It's of course far from over, but I'm definitely in much better position right now because I have 2 Raticates in play and also Oranguru with the Ariados on the bench. This is gonna be Professor Sycamore for 7. And another Umbreon GX and Zorua discarded. Alright, interesting that he didn't decide to put another Zorua on his bench. And that's gonna be 1 Super Rod, which is gonna be for probably 2 Eevees and maybe even 1 Eevee, 1 Umbreon and 1 Darkness Energy, or 2 Umbreons and maybe 1 Darkness Energy. Simply if you have another Eevee, he really wants to have option for 2 Umbreons. Of course, he can always strafe for like 30 and retreat down to the Zoroark if he have, of course, Darkness Energy available in his hand. Or even better, he can just Mind Jack for the knockout. Mind Jacking for the knockout here is definitely a big deal, and even bigger deal is my Rattata available in my hand for scrapping that Float Stone, which is definitely going to be very important. But also very important thing here is to get another Raticate break somehow for the knockout against his Zoroark. But overall, my opponent still needs to take 3 prize cards versus my 2 prize cards. So if I can knock out his Zoroark next turn, I think this is going to be the GG for me, simply because he's not going to have that extra energy available on his Eevee for that Umbreon knockout. Time to promote my Oranguru. And of course I need to be very smart here, so I'm just going to use my Poisonous Nest first. There we go, so I can retreat and also have opportunity to remove that poison. Then I'm gonna Sycamore for 7, so I can also have that Lysandre available in my discard pile. There is another Raticate break for me, and the Trainer's Mail for 1 more Level Ball. Oh no, I somehow don't like this. I somehow don't like this. Because right now I don't have double course energy. I'm gonna grab that via Seeker. well, I shouldn't put my Spinarak on the bench. I shouldn't put my Spinarak on the bench because right now he can actually have knockout against my Oranguru. But I can't believe simply that I didn't pull that double course energy. I have so bad luck drawing those energy cards that this is just ridiculous. Mind Jack can go for 130 and it's gonna be exactly enough for the knockout. But the question is, will he have that Umbreon because there's a Float Stone available? I can still win if the top deck, of course, is gonna be DC. If top deck is gonna be DC, I can still win. But yeah, it needs to be double course energy. Or even not. So, oh, stand in, of course, yeah. Completely forget he wants to get rid of the poison here. Yeah. And even worse, he have Lysandre available for the knock against my Raticate. So he can Mind Jack. Alright, so the top deck is another Ariados. However, I also have my Raticate here. Too many cards in his hand. Way too many cards in his hand. So let's say if I that's not enough. I mean, I can have the knockout against his Zoroark maybe, but then he just need double course energy card. Theoretically, maybe he's not gonna be able to get one of them. But that's just maybe, you know. Teammates will be for Raticate and a double course energy, and I can knock out his Zoroark with my Shadow Bite. That's literally the only thing I can do right now. And it's all about that Umbreon in my opponent's hand. So Shadow Bite for like 120. I'm gonna grab Trainer's Mail and my opponent will promote that Umbreon GX. And of course, if he have double course energy, then he can use Shadow Bullet and knocks out my Raticate. If he don't have double course energy, or if he can't find double course energy, then I can simply win that game next turn. I mean, still he can maybe somehow play N with of course just regular energy attachment, and we can both goes down to one card. There's Ultra Ball, which might be for another Shaming, but I probably don't think he actually have another Shaming available. Probably he just wants to see if he have available double course energy, so he can maybe Sycamore for 7. On the other side, as I mentioned it, he can just gamble landing down to 1 and maybe just attaching one energy, one basic energy to his Umbreon and using that Dark Hole GX, discarding my, of course, double course energy from my Raticate. But still, then I can have that Oranguru and instruct for like 3 cards. There's Professor Sycamore, alright, so he can go for like 60 right now. Yeah, he have Reverse Wally and Strafe, so he can go for like 60, which is going to be exactly enough for the knockout. Unfortunately, yeah, mistake was made and the game was lost, so it's a GG.